Ta-da! Here we are. Hey, everybody. It is Mental Health Matters Suicide Prevention Saturday. I am here with Gary.
Hello.
And I watched another recording, and when I go like this, apparently when this actually plays back, you're really over here. So
Oh,
we're going to
wow.
see what happens. I don't know. All right. So I think those of you who are brand new to the show, this is Gizzard Gary. And I think just the name of this particular one, which is Mental Health Matters with everyone's favorite Gizzard, for people who have not yet been to the Gizzard Gary show, I think just that alone is going to boost my ratings because who has a favorite Gizzard exactly that are outside of our lovely YouTube channel? So I'm looking at the title. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get a lot of people watching this because they're going to want to know who my favorite Gizzard is. So, Gary, thank you so much for coming and
Oh, you're
spending some time
welcome.
with me.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I love listening to you talk. You have like the best grandpa voice that just is calming.
Well, thank you, dearie.
Welcome. Um, let's see. So, mental health matters. Why are we here? Because we, as gun owners, know that 2 out of every 3 gun deaths you hear about are actually suicides. And if that is the case, and we talk about mental health and suicide prevention, we can actually save even more lives than just from those who take their life with firearms. Before we hopped on here, real quick, Gizzard and I were talking about his grandchildren. And I've been teaching all day. I just got finished with my last clients for the day. And we were actually talking about suicide prevention and just how that the saddest part right now is one of the largest growing groups of suicide is our preteens and our teenagers. And it's been growing substantially ever since social media. Now, that being said, correlation versus causation are 2 things we always want to be careful about when we're talking about stuff. But yeah, so anyway, here we are. Anywho, you got 2 grandkids. How
I do.
many how many kids do you have?
Just two, a boy and a girl. My son just turned 40, and my
Okay.
daughter will turn 37 next week.
And do you have one grandkid from each kid,
That's
or do you
correct.
have?
Yes.
Okay, all right, all right. We didn't get into those details in the back room. So now, to be fair, I know my green room's not as fancy as that other hillbilly dude. We
No,
don't
I
have
know.
fancy things like Oreos in the back room.
Mm-mm.
So just conversation to keep you satiated for the fun of tonight. All right. So, Mr. Gary and I were talking about what is mental health. So, I asked Gary to tell me and you guys when people say mental health, what do you think about?
Um, I think of me maintaining positive self-image, positive outlook, trying to keep dark thoughts aside and stuff like that. Set your day up to where there's things, people that you look forward to and stuff like that, and learn to appreciate yourself and everything that makes up your life and stuff like that. Uh,
That's a
just
lot.
to appreciate the world around you and stuff like that. And that's not easy to do. You have to kind of get yourself in that mindset where, you think, well, there's a lot I lack. Well, I've got an awful lot of things I do have too. I've got family, I've got friends, I've got security and stuff like that. Those things are important to me. I have my faith, which is also important to me. You've got to keep all those things in balance, and to me, that's pretty much what mental health is for me. Am I
All right.
perfect at it? Absolutely not. I have to
None of us
practice
are.
every day. But that's it in a
Everything is
nutshell,
practice.
if I had to. And I've never been asked that question before. So I
First
kind of
time.
had to wing that one. But
There you go. Yeah, no, lots of first times. No matter how old you are, there's still going to be a first time for something. I
mm-hmm.
mean, heck, my mom was at least in her 40s, maybe her 50s before I threw her out of a plane for Mother's Day. So you never know when you're going to have a first.
Nobody's ever going to do that to me.
No, you don't think so?
Not unless the plane's going down.
Yeah, no, no. We jumped out of a perfectly good plane, but it was one of the more memorable Mother's Day presents that I think I've ever given her. So there's that. All right. So when we were talking before, you showed me a poster, a frame
Mm-hmm.
poster
Yeah.
of something you decided for your daughter. So I'm going to pull you full screen. I'm going to put you full screen. Words are hard at the end of a work day. So
Okay.
that you can show everybody and
Okay. So
actually see
this,
it.
let me make sure it's not glaring too badly, but it's
Yeah.
an owl. My daughter is really into owls and stuff like that. So she had me make this for her on Canva, but it says grow positive thoughts. And I I gave her a copy of it. And I decided, you know what? I needed a copy of that for my office too. So it hangs on my wall in front of me for me to glance when I need it. So,
Well, all the things you were talking about was all of that stuff, right?
yeah,
Is like pay
basically.
attention, be aware of the thoughts that are going on in your head. And we've talked about that here on this show many times before. I hope that it sunk into somebody's head.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, growing our positive thoughts. I've seen so many cool spring garden things. And I wish I had thought about looking for that before I got here, but or once we talked about the owl, because there's a whole list, and maybe I see it on Facebook from time to time about spring gardening and about planting things and sunshine and making sure you get rid of the weeds and all of that. And to me, that's definitely sort of your definition of mental health, right? It's like
I'll
you can
tell you
plant
something. I'll tell you something. This just come up, but this is something to me that I have to start the day by opening all the curtains in here and getting the sunshine in here. And when it's nice like it is today, opening the windows and stuff like that. And you can't believe what that does for mental health outlook and stuff like that. The sunshine and
oh,
seeing
absolutely.
things outside. It's so nice.
Oh, yeah. And vitamin D is actually one of the epidemics. Low vitamin D is one of our challenges here in America um, because people aren't outside enough. So, that blues thing you get in the wintertime when there's just not as much sun, this is where, if you look at neurobiology and all that fun sort of stuff, it talks about actually having bright lights for yourself first thing in the morning because our brain, except for the last 100 years since we've had electricity, is used to coming up when the sun comes up and then going down when the sun goes down.
Right.
And because of electricity, we have totally screwed the pooch on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And this is part of why we have so many problems mentally, is because our brain is not meant to be up 24/7 for days and days at a time.
Right.
And yes, I'm totally giving DJ a hard time right now. Just so we're clear.
Hi, DJ.
Although he's not the only one. I have other friends. I have at least two other friends that have managed to not have a normal sleep schedule, barely sleep at all, and are still relatively healthy. I mean, and I always say relatively healthy because I'm the girl with the torn meniscus and the knee brace and the back. So, yeah, relatively healthy. But yeah, mental health is a big deal, and light is part of it. Now, I don't know if you know, but in Feng Shui, which is supposed to be making your home comfortable and all of that, one of the rules in Feng Shui is in the morning, our blinds go up. In the evening, our blinds go down. Now, that's one of the Feng Shui rules because you want to let the light in when it's there. And then you want to close your house down at night when it's dark. For someone like me, I have to say that I've seen too many horror movies where I'm like, oh yeah, I am so putting my windows down because when you're outside in the dark and someone's inside in the light, you can see everything going on. So I'm like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
put the things down at nighttime for sure. And yeah, and then I think of people like She Fires and all of her security tips. I'm like, yeah, close those blinds when it's dark out because they can see in there perfectly. So, um, do you know the make your bed speech from the Admiral?
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick so I can at least drop the link under here. But and I'm not gonna be able to tell you who the Admiral is until I find it. But the short version is Admiral is now a Navy SEAL. And hold on, where is he? I'm going to go for the short version. So give me a second. Oops. Whoa, you just stop for a second. Admiral McRaven. And how do I do the share thing? No one's going to run and type that. Anyway, if you simply Google or you're on YouTube and you type in "To Change Your Life, Make Your Bed" by Admiral McRaven, I can at least type his name in here. So, oh wait, hold on. I'll just do this, the name of the speech. That will work, right? Y'all are technically not challenged like I am. Holy moly. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Is this going to work? Let's see. Ta-da! There it is. Change your life. Admiral McRaven says, make your bed. And this was taken from a graduation speech. And the short version of it is just like you have your taking the blinds up every morning. Admiral's point is to make your bed every day. Because if every day you get up and you make your bed, you've already accomplished one thing. And if you can accomplish that one thing, that's how you go on to accomplish great things. And then, should you have a bad day, when you come home, at least you have a nicely made bed to go to bed in. And just like what you were already talking about, it's like when we take the little things and we add upon them, and it's just like, if you want to change the world, make your bed. And he's got a book on it as well. But just the importance of like all the stuff you already said. So get up, pay attention to what's going on in your brain, open up the windows, see the light, be thankful there is light.
Right.
You know, those things.
And yes, I did make my bed.
Okay. See, you're ready to change the world, just like that.
There you go. We're doing that now.
All right. Yeah, a little bit at a time. Yeah, no. It's let's see. I'm not sure how all of these are going to air, but I think this one is airing on the 26th of April. So at some point before this one, whether it's on the 12th or the 19th, Charlie Cook and I did one. And we talked about the grateful list. And it's like paying attention, because all of us, there is not one of us that could not be bitching and moaning and whining and crying about stuff, right?
That's true.
Yeah. And I was in the hospital with my mom, and she's getting her infusion for the dementia stuff that's going on in her head. And we're sitting there, and we're just kind of quietly sitting there, not much. And in the infusion, you've got tons of different people coming in for all sorts of different stuff, whether it's chemo or other things that you need infusions for. I don't know. I only know about her dementia one. So we're in there, and then another patient comes in. And they are just straight up miserable. Like, they're arguing with each other. They're arguing with the nurses. I told you this, and I told you that, and I told you this, and I told you. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I am sorry. Their life is so hard. But it's a choice. And I think the challenge is people don't generally realize they're supposed to make a choice. So, Mr. Gary, do tell. Did you notice when you started making better choices? Or that sort of thing? Because, you know, mental health is first being aware of if there are challenges in our lives.
Right.
So when do you think you started making pretty owl pictures and realizing that there were things that you had to pay attention to?
Well, when I realized that changes needed to be made in my life. I mean, and like I said before, it's not a permanent process where you put up the pictures and nothing bad ever happens again. Every once in a while, you have to relearn the things you learned before and stuff like that, because the psyche tends to take you down these roads again every once in a while, and you need the reminders. And sometimes I have to learn it all over again. Make your bed, like you say. Do the things. Wake up and smell the roses or whatever, you know, however you want to put it.
Wake up and
you have to get,
my friend.
Yes, you have to get yourself out of the dumps and back where you belong and stuff like that. And it's a lesson you constantly learn and relearn and stuff like that. Basically, you train yourself how to get yourself better.
Right.
I think is the best way I could put it.
Yeah. And it's just, I don't know, when I was younger, or anytime anything happens to you, no matter what your age is, and people say stuff like, oh, God only gives you what you can handle. And my immediate response is always, I'm good. God doesn't have to have any more faith in me. Yeah, I handled that. Let's just, can we stop now? It's that sort of thing. And each one of our breakdowns, each one of those dark places that we go, is we have a choice, and we can
Right.
stay in our deep little hole, or we can look up and try to climb out, or at least realize that there's still light above us. And when someone starts throwing the dirt on top of us, we just close our eyes, hope it doesn't go in further. But we
Or
learn.
sometimes you have to learn to look at those episodes with a bit more clarity than
Mm,
you do in the past. You think of childhood episodes that are traumatic, for example. You have to think about, well, who were the people you were dealing with? These were children also. If
mm,
you dealt with these same people now, it would be totally different.
right.
Kids do things adults
Kids are
normally.
mean, man.
Yeah. And, but when you look at it with that clarity, it's like, that was a long time ago. That's over with. You survived it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah, it hurt at the time, but you're fine now.
yeah.
So
And sometimes we're fine, and sometimes we think we're fine until something else happens. We're like, oh, wait a second, hold please.
yeah,
Um,
that's a tendency. Sometimes something bad happens, and then everything else starts flooding in. It's like, nope, nope, nope. Get that out of here. Let's
yeah.
concentrate on this one thing.
Well,
So
that's what we call catastrophizing,
mhm.
right? With the
It's
whole
human
thing.
nature. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, it's our survival instinct. And I can't remember when we talked about this or when I talked about this, but it's just like, when I do something that disappoints you, I then feel bad because I am now afraid that I will be kicked out of your tribe, right? And our
Mhm.
survival instinct is to stay part of the tribe. And so we have to
Right.
do the things that keep us together, like when you're coming together for whatever. And so our brain fights really hard to fit in. And yet, no two of us are exactly the same. It's just, and so we're constantly having battles in our own heads before we have battles with anyone else. And so I don't know. I think the best thing that happened to me was group therapy. And this is why I think like so many groups like Al-Anon and I was going to say triple AA, because Al-Anon is for people like me who are the children of alcoholics, and then AA is for the actual alcoholics, and then there's the drugs, and there's all sorts of groups, and it's just like when you're dealing with anything, and this is why we are here on Saturday nights to talk about mental health, so nobody thinks they're actually alone. Matter of fact, wait, where's my little banner thing? There we go. If you need to talk to someone, dial 988. And then you can text, 741-741. And yeah, just knowing stuff that you need to know and understanding you have a choice. And here's the thing that sucks the most about it is when you feel like garbage, we in general are the least resourceful. Hence
Mhm.
the reason I asked your question about when did you find that shift of, holy crap, everything sucks, to, oh, wait a second, it really doesn't. Is there any point?
Uh, Not really. I
That's
mean,
okay.
I think after a while, you just kind of got to resolve the fact. And one of the things I don't know about you, I suppose everybody does to some extent, we worry too much about what our image is to the people around us, like you say, our friends. Or am I what I want to be to my friends? Am I what I want to be to the people on the street and stuff like that? I asked my daughter one time, I was picking out clothes. I said, which one of these which one of these looks best? And she says, doesn't matter what I think. What do you think?
Yeah, she's
And
right.
that kind of made me realize your self-image is the most important thing. If you can be comfortable in your own skin, then you'll be fine around other people as long as you're true to yourself and stuff like that. And that was a hard lesson for me to learn because
Oh yeah,
I've spent most of my life being uncomfortable about my self-image and everything else, but I have to get over that. And I
yeah.
think once I finally got to that point, that
God.
made it a lot easier.
Yeah, we definitely thrive on validation.
Right.
This social media, YouTube, the likes, the down, all of that. But yeah, the love yourself first thing. Most of us have that backwards. I mean, because you and I are similar in age, not the same age, but similar. But I'm relatively confident. You know the quote from the movie that says, "You complete me,"
Mm-hmm.
right? And so often in any relationship, we are feeling that a lot, right? That we are not enough by ourselves. But again, it goes back to our tribal nature of we need the rest of the tribe to survive. And because we need the rest of the tribe to survive, we don't want to be off here on our own by ourselves, which because you said you don't know about me. I'm like, insecurity much? Oh God, yes. often, often. In that you put me in front of a room of complete strangers, I will talk on a stage all day. I get you, G Webs, DJ, barbecue, let's see, Chasing Ghosts, the whole guest list that is here almost
Oh
every
yeah.
Saturday. Saria fan, Fiona, you put me in a room in front of you guys, all of a sudden I'm gonna like lose my stuff because I'm afraid of saying something or doing something in front of you because I'm gonna see you again. Whereas most normal people, and not that I think there isn't actually normal, but they're afraid to get up in front of a group of strangers. Or I'm like, no, put me in front of people that I will never see again, and I will do anything you want. But if they're my friends or people that I know, I'm like, oh gosh, the amount of things I've said where like, I don't know, I could say, oh look, it's Gizzard Gary. Isn't he adorable? And then my poor little brain says, wait, is adorable condescending? Is that the wrong word? Did he want to be handsome instead? Oh, and I'll literally think about that for like a week or two. And then I'll be like, hey Gary, I'm really sorry I said adorable. And most people are like, what?
Well,
So, I mean,
I
yeah.
had some friends that I had just met this one evening. I remember several years ago we were at a big table in a bar, and I didn't know most of these people, only a couple of them and stuff like that. So I didn't engage in a whole lot of conversation until later when I started to get to know people. And somebody made a remark towards the end of the evening. It's like, you know what? You were so quiet when we first got here, and now we can't get you to shut up.
Absolutely. Yeah, that realization in my life was like fourth or fifth grade. In that, I had some friends that I hung out with, or we met on the beach because in the summertime we have a lake and everybody goes to the lake for the summertime when you're a kid.
Right.
And I was super quiet. And so people thought I was a snob because I didn't talk to anyone. And I know those of you who know me and have actually had conversations with me can't imagine me actually being quiet. But my self consciousness was so huge that I wouldn't talk to anybody about anything because I wasn't important enough. I wasn't worth talking to. I didn't know what to say. And the reality of it is, that's all self dialogue in here. No one made fun of me. No one told me any of those things. That was all created in here. So, like, when you started with the whole pay attention to what's up here, I'm like, yeah, it's super important. Um, and now here we are 50 years later, and it's just like, do I still have those problems? Yeah. Do I care a little bit less? Probably, but that's because I have a husband who's really modeled that for me a lot better. And yet I still try to outperform and outgive and outsmile everyone that I can to keep validating my worth. So, does that answer your question about knowing about me a little bit more as far as how I feel about it?
Yes.
Does any of it surprise you?
No, but I've known you a while.
Yeah. But I mean, but this is the other part is like, back to the suicide prevention stuff is like, I don't know what it's like around you, but I know here in Connecticut, New England, we have those suicides where it's like captain of the football team, most popular, all of those things, and nobody had any idea. Or married with kids with a good job, take their own life. And people are like, oh, they had everything. And it's just like, you know what they didn't have? They didn't know to love themselves first, that they were important. And, when a suicide does happen within my circles, I get the phone call and says, what should I do? And I'm like, tell the funny stories of the person that you lost. Pay attention to why that, pay attention to the things that you're going to miss. Because when I go to funerals now, I make sure I ask all the funny stories.
Mm-hmm.
Because the best part of funerals is listening to the stories that, well, they're dead now, so statute of limitations is over. We can talk about that. But yeah, it's all interesting. Nobody knows what else is going on in here. And people can't imagine me being quiet and shy.
Right.
You, on the other hand, I can.
If you knew me, well, you have met me IRL, but we had already known each other before that. We weren't strangers, so to speak.
Yeah.
But to strangers, I've always been rather reserved. Some might say shy, timid, and stuff like that until I know you. If I go into a room full of strangers, I'm that guy that would probably find a safe corner or something like that to go for a while. Or, well, actually, what I do is I scan the rooms. Is there somebody I know? And I'll make a beeline for that person. And then maybe they'll introduce me to a few people, and then we can start making the rounds. But for me to just start walking up to strangers and saying, hi, I'm Gary, that just doesn't, that's hard for me. Always has been.
Yeah, see, and I am the one, I'll be in Walmart. I'm like, oh, girlfriend, I love your nails. That is so great. When I see people I know, if they look at me and I look at them, they're like, hey, how you doing? But like, oh my gosh, I remember like in my 20s, I had this small group of friends. We would go up and go camping every year, at least once or twice. And then summertime. And then Christmas would come around and there'd be the holiday party. And they're all my friends. And I would feel like I was the outsider. And I would feel like, oh my gosh, the amount of social anxiety that I had to go to that thing would almost stop me every time. I'm like, oh, I don't really want to go. But then I would go and I have a great time. I'm like, oh, this was awesome. But leading up to going, I'm just like, nobody actually wants to talk to me. I'm really an outsider. I'm not really part of the crew because a lot of them had known each other longer and all of that. And so this was like the cool part about going to SHOT is that I pretty much knew all of you about the same time. So I wasn't as worried.
Well, that's the thing. As for what I do as a content creator, as an influencer, I often have to walk up to a booth and introduce myself to a complete stranger and try to convince them that I'm a nice guy they'd want to work with. So I've had to work on my elevator speech and stuff like that. And you've got to have a certain degree of confidence when you do that.
All right.
Self-belief, present yourself as somebody who is confident that they know what they're doing. That did not come easy for me. First SHOT Show or two I went to, that was very difficult. I had to basically be coached into it and stuff. But it's something you can learn after a while. But a lot of that, as we've talked about before, is self-belief. Do I really believe that's true? If I believe that's true, and I had to convince myself, yes, I do have benefit to these people, And
Right.
yes, I can. So therefore, I can go up to a stranger and say, okay, I can because I believe that. I can't convince you of something that I don't believe is true.
All right, let me hear it. I want to hear your elevator spit. That. That thing you just said. So I'm a vendor, a knife vendor at SHOT. What are you going to tell me?
Well, hi, Brooke. I'm Gizzard Gary. I have a YouTube channel and I do product promotion and review videos. And I would like to talk to you about perhaps obtaining some of your products for review because I think I could benefit you and we could have a mutually beneficial relationship. So here's my business card.
All right, here's their first knife because it's pretty.
Oh, that's a nice knife. I got lots of knives. I got the new hillbilly knife today, by the way.
Oh
The
yes, I
multicolor, it finally
know.
came. I
I
have
was
all four now.
I was there. I actually was on that one where it's the first time he gave the multicolor, and all I could think of is like, well, I've got a bigger one. And oh wait, ready? Hold on,
We
hold on.
got the
Yeah,
complete set now.
I have the extra special one. Barbecue sent me this one because apparently barbecue won this one.
Oh, neat.
And barbecue ended up sending this to me. So extra special fancy.
Oh, yeah.
But I know I have more. I just don't know where they go. Because I'm like, I got one of the original skinny black knives. And
Oh, yeah.
it's so amazing how sharp it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, this is so great. And then I want another one. And then I said something to Hillbilly, and he thought I said I didn't have a one. And so he sent me one anyway. So I have more than one. So shh, don't tell anyone.
Okay.
Excuse me. I'm looking for my water, realizing I drank it in the last class. So hold
Oh,
that.
no.
Oh, yes. With my students, I offer them a free class if they can hold the cup out in front of them and make the water stop moving, because I'm explaining to them how the arc of movement works and why their sight picture is never going to be perfectly solid as long as they're holding their gun.
Oh, yeah.
So hence I have actual water. All right. So you were talking about coaching. So let's talk about some coaching.
Okay.
TonyRobbins.com, one of my first coaches. As a kid of the 70s and 80s, I spent lots of time on the TV. My babysitter was the TV. MASH at 10:30 and 11 o'clock at night, or between 10 and 10:30 and 10:30, 11. So I go to bed at 11. And then Tony Robbins came on in the 80s. And I'm like, oh, this looks interesting. And my husband and I are together now because my husband bought me my first cassette tapes or CD set of the 30 Days of Personal Power. And when we were in college, and that was like $250 back in the 90s, when $250 bought you more than a bag of groceries.
That's a lot of money back then.
So Tony Robbins were the reasons that my husband and I are together. And then for additional coaching, Dean Graziosi, he is another one. And this guy makes me think of what you and I have been talking about tonight, in that you have to become the person that you want to be before you can expect anybody else to want to be around you. Like your daughter said, it's like, well, does that shirt make you feel better? Not whether I like it or you like it. And I'm sorry, it's really hard not to have that external validation from somebody else, because I'm not going to show it to you, but over there on my husband's desk is a glamour shot of me from the 1980s or maybe the early 90s. And it's my husband's desk, but my students every so often will be like, oh, is that you? And I'm like, yes. Poofy hair and everything and lots of makeup. So yeah, but Dean Graziosi had got a divorce, and it put him over the edge. Like, he became very, very, very distraught. And he realized that the turning point for him was that he needed to become the man that would attract the woman that he wanted to spend the rest of his life with. And so it's always the inside job. And between Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, and then it's just like that whole thing of like, you have to be you versus that you complete me thing. It's like become the person you want to be, and that will attract the person that you want in your life, or the friends and the family and all of that. One of my other favorite guys is Ed Milet. He is, I don't know, I guess he's a coach. He's a real estate guy. He has just some of the coolest, what are they called, guests on his show. So those are fun. But way back in the beginning, when I was a teenager, I read this book called The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino. And it was similar to you opening the shades every morning, making your bed, all of that. It was the 10 scrolls to success. And it was about love and habits. And the first habit is you read the scrolls every day, morning, noon, and night. And on the third, at the nighttime, you read it out loud, and how that changes everything. And that was probably, Og Mandino was probably the very first thing, because I was reading this in high school. And it may or may not have been what helped save my life. So I have more, but I'm sorry, I'm going blah, blah, blah. You got anybody, Gary? You got people that have helped you on the interwebs or whatnot?
Well, not so much on the interwebs. I can remember when I was at work, one of the things they put us through was Stephen Covey's seven basic habits of highly effective people. I still remember those teachings to this day.
Yeah.
Like somewhere in here, I have a wall certificate that says I completed the class, you know.
Okay.
But, you know, little things like that. And other than that, I absorb a lot from the people. I tend to imitate the people I admire.
Okay.
You know, maybe try to get little, you know, glean little tidbits from them. And, but I can't. In the end, it's kind of like you say, you have to be, I hate to use the phrase again, comfortable in your own skin. That's the most important thing. I don't want to model myself after anybody else or try to be somebody I'm not. I'm best at being me. And when I'm confident at being me and happy with being me, I can be the best me, you know. And if people like me on YouTube and stuff like that, then I've basically accomplished that. I can't really make little adjustments. Yeah, I might do annoying things or something like that.
Oh,
so,
we all do annoying things.
don't put that ugly hat on the screen, you know. It's like, okay, fine. But, you know, it's that kind of thing. I think that's why, you know, the people, and I don't have a huge following on YouTube, but the people who do follow me, they kind of see me as down to earth and stuff like that. I think I have that vibe. And that's kind of what I want to be. I can't make myself to be anybody else. I'm just me.
Yeah, actually, one of my Christmas presents for real. Oh, sorry. So here's the Franklin Covey thing. And if you go to this website, you can actually click on a free webcast or a free guide that will expose you to the 7 habits of being effective. So as much as we can't necessarily copy someone else, one of the Tony Robbins things, as well as the Dean Graziosi things, is success leaves clues. So, for example, if you and I are going to go to the gym and we want to get a trainer, we're not going to get the 300-pound trainer that can barely move. We want to get that dude who is ripped, or that lady that is ripped, because we want to see that they can do the things, and then we can follow in their footsteps. We're not becoming them, but they're where we want to be. So then we have something to follow. But anyhow, all right, my friend. Well, I said 15 or 20 minutes. We're going on 40. Hillbilly's green room is probably up and running, waiting for you. Oh, but wait, this is pre-recorded, so you're already there.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. You might stay on to see if people are commenting. So, you know, you might be in the chat. I don't know. So with that, let's see. Who else do I have? Who did I not say yet? All right. So Jocko Willink, one of my favorites. If you like a little more hardcore, he's definitely a, what is he? Navy SEAL, I think it was. And one of my favorite videos from him is That's Okay, or something along those lines. But he basically talks about when something sucks. Oh, good. Yeah. Look up Jocko Willink Good, and you'll find the video that I'm talking about.
Okay.
And then David Goggins, As Long as You Don't Mind Potty Mouth, because he swears a lot. But if you can get past the swearing, he's got some good messages. He is slightly crazy though. All right. So what else we got? Love yourself first, probably most important thing. Because if you're not happy with you, why would anyone else be happy with you? And happiness is that inside job. You do get to, oh, wait a second, I just happen to have this here. If that which you seek, you find out within yourself, you will never find it without. And it was just a random quote that I found, but it's just like, you have to look within you to find out. And the weeding, I don't know about you, Gary, but the weeding of getting the stuff out of you that you don't like the pity parties and whatnot.
What's helpful to me sometimes, my friends, the hens, most people who know me know who the hens are. And yeah, they do. We pick on each other and stuff like that, like male friends tend to do and stuff like that. But one thing I've been able to glean from these guys is they will tell me the absolute truth. They won't tell me what I want to hear. They will tell me the truth. And sometimes it's helpful to surround yourself with people who will just give you the honest truth.
Yeah.
Rather than sugarcoat it and, make you, you're wonderful, you're great. It's like sometimes you want to just know what people really think. And to have those friends who will tell you is
Unless you're
very
married,
important.
don't be honest with the wife when she asked about the jeans making her look fat. Other than that, he's correct.
That's probably why I don't have one right now.
Like, no, don't be that honest. But yeah, and it's hard finding out when that honesty is good, and other times when it's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have been so honest on that one. Oh, all right. Well, with that, I had other things in my brain, but they're already gone because it's my brain. It doesn't work that way. Thanks to everybody who came on. Special thanks to Gary for taking time out of his day so that I am not worried for the next 3 Saturdays, wondering if this is going to play or not, and take care of all of you peeps that came out and said hi. Thanks for showing up. DJ would say, bring a friend next time. Hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, leave a comment below. As you're running off to go see Hillbilly's channel at the top of the hour for Hillbilly Up, Gary, since Hillbilly reminds me of these things all the time, what you got going on? What do you got to plug? What's your latest, greatest? And remember, this is about 3 weeks from now. Oh, so almost done before the bell.
I silenced it. But anyway, sorry about that.
It's all
but
good.
What have I got going on? Well, I've got my weekly live stream every Friday night at 9 p.m. Central. It's called Fowl Territory, FOWL, as in the birds, of course, because why not? We have a chicken theme going on here. So I've got that. Usually, if you pay attention, subscribe to my channel, I have knife and flashlight reviews, sometimes gun stuff and stuff like that. So I have a lot of product reviews on my channel and stuff like that. So hopefully keep everybody entertained and stuff like that. And I appear on a lot of other people's live streams also. I'm even on the Brooke Cheney show. Check this out.
There you go. You will probably be on the panel at Hillbillies after this, yes?
Mm-hmm. More than likely, yeah.
And spell foul for me again.
FOWL.
Okay. Because, yeah, apparently I can't spell because I wanted to pull up your, oh, there you are. I'm going to bring up your calendar. No, your thingies. Oh, my goodness. Words at the end of a work day after teaching all day? No, not so much. There we go. On his channel, YouTube, at Gizzard Gary, you will find, ready? I show everybody a picture so that they know that they're at the right place. And voila, ta-da. I'm gonna make that big so y'all can see it. So if you see the little circles in a rooster with a firearm, you know you will have arrived. And then here are our foul territories that are coming up. Oh, and look, there's the hens you were talking about.
There they are.
Ta-da, Gun Snob, C4 Defense, and Obnoxious One. So, all right, like so. I clicked on buttons, things occurred, and now my thing is saying, oh, we're losing internet. So I guess now is as good time as always.
Oh, no.
And so thank you so much. Enjoy Hillbilly Show after this. And thanks again. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.